We'll get Chris in there to put it on that TV. Usually we'll bring Desk in here. I didn't know who was coming and who wasn't, so.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm there now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'm there now. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Hi, Randy.
Hello, Miss Pinky.
How are you?
I lost Julie. Chris, you cut all my people off my Zoom meeting. No, you cut this one off. When you ended a meeting, it just ended it for everybody. So. Well, you were too, because you signed in as R. Brooks.
Okay, we'll sign in again.
I have, so I'm
Okay.
waiting on a few people to come
Sorry.
back. Yes, ma'am. It should be in there on that other. Sorry. Okay, we're going to start in just a few minutes.
How long is it? About an hour?
About an hour.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm gonna sit right here. Yeah, Chris needed the screen, but I'll just move that here and do it. So we're good. Let them see my good looking face all day. Instead of on the screen, you'll get to see it live. So, and y'all can go in on those computers and open your email if you want to watch it on there. So, but I'm gonna go over everything. What you have in your hand is okay, guys. Sorry about the delay. We had, I think Audrey sent out a few things. Will you call Audrey and see if she did or? Okay. 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 All right, guys. Today is planning and goals for 2021. I've been preaching for 8 years. When we trying to start up another whole year is make sure we've got some plans going on, like turning the TV off. And so, what's going on here? So I've sent out the Elevate, which we have sent out and you've seen before several times, but this one has been modified a little bit. The first few pages, it's like, hey, there's not a whole lot to do with those. The standard thing that I like to do each year about this time is go back and look at, y'all see my screen? Okay. I'd like to go back and look at,
Let
Muted.
me turn this off because you're gonna hear.
so we've got some people here in the office. And if you haven't been to our office, you'll need to come see it. I know Julie has, and Jean needs to come up here and see us. So and Pinky's been in, so
Yeah, it's a nice office. I love it.
well, thank you. Chris. So anyway, I like to start over what we did this past year, what worked, what didn't work. But one thing I've been studying and looking is disciplines. And we're gonna kind of go over what we did last year because it's very important, and then look at what we want to do next year and what our goals are. I believe if you don't set goals, you're not going to go anywhere. You got to set your goals where you plan on going, what you want to sell. And, you know, as I study more and more and more, it gets down to our habits and disciplines on what we make ourselves do. This quote that I've changed into, that y'all see on the screen right now, that I changed into our Elevate course. It says, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellent then is not an act, but a habit. So if we want to be excellent at what we do and what the top agents are doing, they have a business plan, they do it, and it is a habit. And so I've been looking at my habits about 2 months, over last 2.5 months, I've been on a diet and I've lost 25 pounds. And, you know, and so I do the intermittent fasting. I just eat dinner at nighttime, and it's worked up until Thanksgiving week came in and food's brought here to the office. And so I had some really good habits that worked. And so I think by the time Thanksgiving's over with, I added 6 pounds back. And then the week since then, I've dropped another 6 pounds. So I'm kind of gained back where I was. But then Chris's birthday was Monday and his mother brought food in. And I'm like, man, I just have all these bad habits. And she's got a dessert that's unreal. And so, and I think that's where most of us are with our diets. It's like, hey, we know what to do to lose weight and get where we want to be. And once I hit that 20-pound mark, it's like, okay, I started cheating a little bit. And you know, but if I stayed on it, I'd probably be down 40 pounds right now. Just it's like you starve yourself to death, but I was good with it. And so what I do get to look forward to here in the next month is our church does 21 days of prayer and fasting. So hopefully I throw 20 more pounds. I need it. It's bad when you lose 26 pounds and you're still way overweight. So but if we go back to Elevate, page 1, before I get to disciplines and stuff, if we go down, you know, against the Elevate thing here is we're just trying to raise you guys up and lift you up to a higher position so that we're selling more. 2021 is, as we all know, has been a weird year, but it's been a fantastic year in real estate. Some of you guys remember in March, I was doing Zoom meetings and I really, when the COVID hit, I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's got to get out here and push everybody to keep selling, keep our heads up. And it's turned out to be a tremendous year for real estate. And so, you know, one question is, did you overperform or underperform in 2020? I feel like I underperformed just mainly because juggling so many different things in the real estate world. I also underperformed. I've got a development going in Mount Olive. It's taken forever to get this development done. The gas company was shut down, couldn't get workers out there. We're good. And the next thing we know, the power company can't get out. They were coming to put my underground power in, and hurricane hit at the beach, so their crew's at the beach, so they can't do my subdivision. They come back, supposed to be in my subdivision. And when all the guys came back, they all had COVID. So we were out 14 weeks, you know, 14 more days waiting on these guys. And so it's just been, man, I feel like I underperformed. And a lot of us probably do just because of the obstacles that we've had to face, getting in houses, showing houses, people not wanting people in their homes. But one thing that I've looked at, and we've got a new landing page on our website that if you have a website with our company, we're going to be able to put it on there, is why use Trinessa Smith as a listing agent. And we're pointing out that we use the 360 video, which reduces walk-through traffic, which nobody wants them in their home. I don't let anybody in my homes that I list unless they've seen the video. And, you know, if they've seen the video, and I was selling houses March, April, May, June, most of the year through Zoom meetings. I would just get the other agents on Zoom. I've talked about this, and I was selling houses, and when they would finally come out to see the house, they already loved it, ready to write a contract, just wanted to touch walls. And so that's a great tool that we're going to be able to start 2021 marketing with you guys. We're going to do some marketing for Avast agents, and then you can do your own with this landing page that shows everything, but it also shows what we do with social media marketing. And, you know, we basically state less traffic, more visibility, quicker, higher contracts. And so what I realize that we're going to have to face and do in 2021 is figure out how to keep people out of people's houses, but sell homes. And there's a ton of people out there wanting to sell houses, but they don't want people walking through their homes. And so the 360 video is the answer. And we'll go into that a little bit more maybe next week, and some things going on. When I'm sitting here on contents, those of you that's on the Zoom meeting, you that's here, I'm on page 2 or 3, I think it says contents. What we're going to go over is establishing our business plan. I think it's essential to sit down this time of the year, kind of look at what we want to do. We want to review, reflect, revise, set our goals, our whats and whys, and then see what our days look like. And 1, 2, and 3 is basically the same thing that we've looked at over the years. 6 and 8, you're going to see some differences in this that I'm going to continue to teach, maybe do 2 classes next week, so that we can kind of go over and realize that we don't really need to increase our phone calls or mail out to whatever. We need to focus on our discipline, our you know, what our habits are, and just make sure that we're consistent with it. I had several people call. I'm out of houses in my neighborhoods in McCalla and also in Calera, and I've got all these people calling me wanting houses. And so I picked up the phone last week and called a friend of mine. I know he lives in Calera, and just said, hey, if you know if you want to sell, or you know anybody wanting to sell, and he gave me 3 names, of which one I signed a listing on Friday. We should be under contract this week. I've got 2 more that wants to list first of the year. And then I've got 3 people that I've talked to that first of the year get the holidays over with just from picking up a phone call. And I'm like, why don't I do that more often? And you know, why don't I do that every day like our Elevate plan says we're supposed to do? And then I've also delivered cards out to houses. Just, hey, you know, we've got people wanting to buy. If you're in this business and you simply look at the MLS, supply is way down. About every market I've looked in says contingent. You know, I saw one the other day. I got excited in McCalla, but by the time I look, and it's been on the market for 286 days. It's got foundation problems, and I sent it to my guy and said, hey, I've got the best foundation guy in town. Let's go look at it and see what it's going to take to fix and make him an offer. And so kind of getting into that of our marketing plans and what our days needs to look like. But let me go back. The next thing is establishing your business plan. I think it's very important to sit down. Right now, this time of the year, some of us are slow. You want to sit there and see what you're going to do this year, and where we start on that business plan is the next page is let's look at how did you get your business last year. You know, I know I get my business from you know, I get my business from a lot of builders. I'm developing, I'm keeping the neighborhoods, but I also just told you I make a lot of phone calls. I get a lot of calls, or picked up several sales. I'm closing one this week just as a referral. One of the guys I sold in my neighborhood about 3 years ago, I just sold his house, helped him buy a house. That was about a $22,000 deal between the two. And now he's referred me my third client, which I've sold the other houses. This cousin of his is a buyer. If anybody's heard me talk, I'm just like, oh my God, I don't want a buyer. So, I've got a buyer for somebody in McCullough, about 200 grand. I just don't like working them. I don't know why. But if I sell their home, I'm more than happy to get out there. But most of my clients this year, my buyers, they came with me with the house they already had found themselves and just wanted me to help them. And I'm glad they do that, but sometimes it feels like highway robbery when they found it and I get to walk away with a nice commission. So reflect back and ask some of you guys in the email yesterday, go ahead and fill this out. We do need to look at, how did you get your business last year? Did you market it in a way? Did you do something on Google? Did you do something Facebook? Did you advertise at your church or business or schools, or what is it that you did do? And then look at what actually worked well for you. I won't call her name out. She's one of the top agents here in Birmingham. And I just called her because I see her on Zillow, I see her on realtor.com, different things that's out there. And I was just calling her I'd just like to know from a lot of the top agents is where are you getting your business and what works? And she told me, she said, I've got so much stuff going on, I don't know where my business comes from. And I'm like, well, that's pretty nice to say because you're closing so many deals, but you're also spending a lot of money that you probably shouldn't spend, because if you're spending it on realty.com, which is what we were doing for a while, you're wasting money because you're not getting any leads. And so I think you've got to keep up with your ROI, your return on investments. What are you looking for, Chris? Okay. And so what methods work? You need to know what worked for you. What worked good for me was phone calls and follow-up. And I'm going to hit on that a little bit too. But, I don't know what worked for you. Julie or Pinky or Charnessa, anybody want to mention what you felt like worked good for you last year?
I call my sphere of influence few times, and also I send calendars every year. I can show you again. This is what I'm sending right now again. Also, I advertise when they have functions. I spend money. This time I spent $250. There were only 40 people, but I don't care how many people. Even if I get one lead, that's good for me. That's how I get my business.
That's so good. Sphere of influence.
Yeah.
Problem is Julie has none, so she has to work code calls. Brandy, hello Brandy, I just saw you on here. So how are you doing? You're muted.
I was muted and I was over on the Elevate book. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. I mean, I just tried something new for the coming year. I always work my sphere of influence, but I partnered with a company called sold.com. I don't know if you guys have heard of them. Because like Randy said, buyers are great, but I've got one buyer right now that I swear to you, I've shown him 43 houses and we've not made an offer yet. So my return on investment with that particular client's like pennies. So I really want to focus on really having a bunch of listings for 2021. So I partnered with sold.com and with them,
Brandy froze up. So.com. She forgot to pay the internet bill.
Is she literally free?
That's why she's trying something new.
Yeah,
She can earn money, pay the bills.
that's right. Pay the internet bill. Make sure you don't pay anything else. Pay for the internet. So
I mean, mine came from word of mouth. From September and October, I had 5 clients. 4 of which were buyers and 1 was a listing. And I felt like I spun my wheels with 4 buyers and I wasted a whole lot of time, but I couldn't take on anything else because they were constantly wanting me to search and find and go and show. And I found myself just spinning wheels like crazy. So.
Yeah, I understand. That's why I don't like buyers, but you know, it works for some people. I think you have to learn how to manage a buyer. Charnessa is probably as good as that as anybody. And you know, it'd be nice. So, you know, you watch a TV show and they show them 3 houses and say, pick one of the 3. And I really think that's kind of, you know, and that's in my book is you pick one of the 3 or go find you. I'll give them Julie's number and she can go show them all these other folks. But, you know, now we all need to work those connections that we have, our sphere of influence. And where I'm working mine is I'm not calling saying, hey, do you know anybody wants to buy a house? The gold right now, and I promise you, the market in 2021 is going to be better than 2020 than what we saw last year. But I have sat here the last couple of days looking at leads on do I buy leads and where do I buy them and the numbers and the audacity of some of these companies, what they want to charge us for buyer leads. I'm like, don't spend the money, you know, and buying seller leads is not worth it anyway, because most of those people want to use somebody they know. And so, you know, unless you're in with a good setup like so.com or somebody that's more of a partner deal, then you need to save your money. But calling friends like I did and just asking, do you know anybody wants to sell their house, looking to move, and stuff like that. So if you're going to work it, you know, for the listing side of it. And I'll share here in a few minutes, Chris sent our landing page, that a little marketing, a little Zoom meet or a Facebook ad or Pinterest or something like that, just kind of putting your information. Miss Brandy, she went online and paid the internet bill. So finish telling us about your so.com.
Yeah. So, and I did exactly what you did. I called a realtor that sells a ton of real estate in Birmingham, Drew Taylor. And I was just asking Drew how he built his listings. And he said he started with a company that's no longer there, but he was telling me that sold.com is a great company to use now. And so check them out because they're very reasonable. It's not a lot of money at all. And you claim zip code. So I claimed Helena because it's super close to me. And what you do is they send you out to for sale by owners that are not having good luck. And so every for sale by owner that I've been to so far, they're overpriced. And I give them my whole little spiel. And one told me flat out, hey, listen, I'm going to use my child's doctor's wife. And I was like, yeah, okay, fine. But then the other one told me, listen, I'm giving it another week and I'm calling you. So I expect to hear from them tomorrow. Actually, I went out last Thursday. And I know they're not sold. I check them every day. So check out sold.com. I've never done anything like that before. I've always just worked my sphere and I'm continuing to work my sphere for 2021, but I really want to up my game on listings. And so I just kind of started looking at avenues to do that. And when I talked to Drew and he pointed me in that direction, I just thought it was a cool thing to try out. So look at sold.com if that's something that interests you, is building listings. And I just liked how you could claim zip codes. And so I claimed the zip code for Helena, Pelham, and Alabaster because those are super close to me. And so far I've been to 2 houses in Helena. So, and I'm a chicken and they vet everybody before they send them out to you or send you out to them.
What price range is so.com?
So the first house I went to was 450,000 and the second house I went to was 300,000.
But what are your fee to them?
So I pay sold.com to claim the 3 zip codes that I paid $250 for the whole year on their Black Friday special. So super cheap. And that gives me the advertising and makes me the preferred realtor in those zip codes. And then I paid them, gosh, I cannot remember because I joined on that Black Friday special. I think it's 15% per closing referral fee. So it's relatively very cheap compared to most of the referral services.
Yeah, that's very inexpensive.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why Drew recommended it. He was like, they're cheap and they're good. So
Okay. Any in-house, Vanessa, anything you did or?
and when I started doing here the rates.
Yeah.
Great opportunity to, and for friends, families, and sending out text message for past buyers so I can get sellers.
Yeah.
And if you're looking to sell, just so, and send it out, and please call me, if if you're interested in
Yeah.
buying myself.
Okay. Well, I think Brandy's doing training tomorrow on our new CRM system, which if we can get that kicked in, that's going to help everybody in just working and really a lot of information that I'm gonna hit on here in a second is letting them know how hot the market is. And again, to me, our advantage of focusing on 360 videos and, and I'm going down to a subdivision today, this afternoon, just dropping cards off that I need a house in that neighborhood. And like I'll find one. So anybody can sell what's in the MLS or get beat out by multiple options on the MLS. But I'm going to where there's no for sale signs and trying to find me a house for my client. So
Absolutely, where she wanted to be
mhm.
and we, happening,
Yeah.
what's happening in Charleston,
Yeah.
what's happening, but she wanted to be in Town. And she put it, and she lived there, and she lived down in rental home, and she put it out, I'm looking in the Town, and she got a private message, and it goes up in the house.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So Julie, she stole one out from under you. Did y'all hear Charnessa? She's worked her network and sphere of influence, and then they put it out in the neighborhood. Yeah. So they just go into, and I think we had a couple agents back early summer going into the neighborhood pages and just putting in, hey, we need a house in this certain neighborhood. And so I have seen that work quite a bit. So go to your Oak Mountain page or Hueytown, or most communities have their own pages that you can join. I joined a couple that I'm paying as a realtor in that area. And so I've gotten a few calls from people, but they're newer subdivisions, so they're less likely to sell. But I'm just trying to get in, go ahead and start investing so that maybe when people do, they'll give me a call. And so it's not all got to be today. It's like a long range plan of what we're going to do. So what methods work well? How many closings did you have last year? Did anybody have enough closings last year that you're all happy with? I don't know many people that wants to say, yeah, I had enough. I thought I had plenty, and then I'm sitting there like, and I actually added like 4 to my December, just from picking up the phone and making a few calls and thinking, hey, you can't shut down your business. I'll tell you this, right when you think, hey, I've got enough going on, I'm gonna kick back and relax. It makes it hard to re-gear up. But we do need to look at how many closings do you want next year? We still have the screen. How many closings you have? How much did you make? I think we all will sit there, no matter how good of a year, we're going to sit there and say, I needed to make another 20 grand or so. But I think the balance of what you spent, what you made, look at the money you invested, make sure you didn't waste any money, leave it on the, on the bone there by just spending, wasting money. We've pulled out of the marketing and some Zoom, not Zoom, I keep saying Zoom, but Facebook and social media marketing, just until we get some ads right. I've met with some marketing people, making sure our ads are right. So, just putting something uninformative out there is just a waste of money if you're boosting or running ads. What I'm seeing right now, more and more people are pushing agents to start doing Facebook marketing. We see a big trend of Facebook marketing, and we see a big trend of Google marketing, trying to get you to spend some money in there, getting people to push your website, go to your website. With what we looked at of what worked last year and what didn't, We want to relook at how will we get our business this year. I think what Charnessa was saying was you went after your sellers, looking for buyers, and to me, that's number one. And that's why a CRM system is so important, is we need to stay in contact, and we need to make sure every one of us has such a sphere of influence. And I had somebody tell me the other day is, hey, it's not good to deal with family. I disagree. As long as you keep it a total business transaction and be professional and just let them know you're not going to cut your commission whatsoever. And that's where you get everybody gets mad. You go in, hey, I'm going to give you a discount, and then it doesn't sell, and then all of a sudden you're the bad guys. Just treat it like you would anybody else, and push it like you should. What methods are you going to implement this year? Looks like a lot of people are going to implement so.com. So if Brandy had opened up some markets for us, sounds like she bought most of Birmingham. So it's I'm just kidding, Brandy. So we need to look at it. I did have a company call me the other day with some zip codes, and it was all the, everything under 20,000. I'm like, well, I don't want to, sell that. And the pitch that he made to me as well, so be careful, was he called me and I talked to him about how many leads I wanted to buy. And I'm really focusing on trying to get leads in the company so that we can send them out to you guys. And I told him I'm looking for about 200 to 300 leads a month that we need to buy so we can send them out to everybody. And so he's sitting there and he went over some zip codes. I looked at a few of them, and then the next day he called me back so we can go over it. And next thing I know, it's 200 a year. His numbers. He was like, "Oh, I made a mistake," and I'm like, and I just hung up. I mean, I almost couldn't get him off the phone. I just finally had to be rude. So be careful with what you're buying. How much money do you want to make this year? You need to put that number in so you can back up to how many closings you actually need, and look at your markets that you're going to sell in. If you're in a $200,000 market, you're going to make about $5,000 a closing. If you need to make $50,000 a year, you need to focus and try to sell 10 homes this year to make 50. If you need to make 100, you need to be selling 20 homes, and so on, so and so. So really the math there is just look at the markets you're in, figure out what the average commission is, what you want to make, and focus on how many homes you want to make, and make that how many homes you want to sell this year really a true number. I've spoken before that I had an agent that she had closed like 1 to 2 the year before. We're sitting down and she says, "I'm gonna close 90 this year." Let's focus on 5 or 10, and because it's impossible to go from 2 to 90, and unless you really are spending a ton of money on leads and have some help. And so the answer to that question, how many closings do you need to make happen this year, is simply back into how much money you need to make and what market you're in. And I do think it's important to focus on a market. Birmingham's a big place. I don't really get out to the trustful market, and I'm selling more Calera, McCullough, and then we're fixing to start building some houses in Mount Olive, and then I'm doing a subdivision starting in March in Vestavia. I'll be selling those, but I don't try to really cover everywhere. And so I think you can only be so good in a certain area. And I think if you get there and be really good at it, then you can kind of branch out a little bit. But most failure comes when somebody's just all over Birmingham, and I'm like, you don't really know. I can't go. Ed Harris sent me something the other day about a listing he had, and I've been playing with it, and I'm like, I just don't know trustful market. And so I can't be good. I can nail certain markets down and tell you the trends just because I'm seeing them every day. And that's what makes me, what I feel like, why people like me and want to use me in those areas, is because I know their market. But once you dig in and study a market, it doesn't take long to be good and understand what the market is and stuff. But what's your goal this year? Why do you want this goal? Why are you wanting to make 50 grand or 100 grand? What are your strategies? I think it's important to sit down and write this out. And if y'all want to, we can, you know, next week or whenever y'all finish this, is we can kind of talk about your strategies. And I think it's important that we get together as agents and share. Like I said a while ago, I called a top performing agent, just ask her what works for her and what doesn't. And most agents, I don't care if they're Avast agents or Keller or Remax, they'll talk and tell you, just like Julie said, Brandy said, you know, another agent, you know, shared some information on so.com, and most everybody wants us to be successful in the business that we're in, and if we're all in this. So figuring out your strategies to reach this goal. What do you have to do to make calls? How much time a day are you going to spend in your business? How many days a week? And your goals is vacations as well. Make sure you're taking vacations. And
Take vacations because that's when you sell the most.
that's when you sell the most. And
Never
so,
fails.
you know, I heard that years ago. Jenny Williams was telling me, she's a big trainer here in Birmingham, is now with EXP, but she's like, put 3 vacations on your calendar, and you know, even if you just ride out of town for a few days or just take off and be at home, she said that's when you're going to sell more houses. And it worked, I'm telling you. And Julie's, you just nailed it. So really setting up till this point is really kind of your business planning, setting up, you know, what you're going to do, set up your business plan, have a desire of what you want to make. Don't just go at this and just, you know, everybody can't, like Brandy, just say, hey, you know, my husband makes so much money, I don't have to make that much. I can just get out here and play with it. So the rest of us have to work at it. And so we know how much we need. I know how much Miss Stacy needs at home each month. So I'm like, I got to get up and at 5, and I got to milk the cows and take out the trash and do everything else, and then go to work, and then come home and cook and clean dishes. And so my life's pretty rough at home, but you know, it is something that we need to look at, put a target on, and don't just get up and fall short. You know, you don't want to underperform in 2021. You want to sit there, make sure you have some goals and desire, and set up what you're going to do that we're fixing to move to on certain things of creating good habits and disciplines, because that's what makes us rock is good habits. You know, I've created a bad habit of eating again and putting on a little weight. Brandy wasn't on earlier, I don't think. And, you know, I've lost 26 pounds. I've added 6 pounds. I'm trying to lose it again. And then nobody showed up for Chris's birthday party Monday that his mom cooked food. So I'm having to eat the food. So, you know, I'm not going to
Some
let
people
good
were
food
not
go to waste.
invited to Chris's birthday.
We should have sent something out. So I didn't know who was
I don't
coming,
even
so.
know Chris has a birthday on.
Yeah,
Yeah, his
so
birthday was Monday. So
I
I'll
think
put it
next
on.
week Chris needs to have a second birthday.
Yeah, I agree, because his mom was a good cook. So it was very good food.
Chris, I text you happy birthday. You didn't mention food.
He didn't tell you?
No,
Well, I think,
and I text about his birthday.
let's see, I think he realized that it was just he and I going to eat all this food all week. So it is good stuff. So anyway, okay. So everybody go in, fill out the blanks for next week meeting if y'all want to go over it. I just think it's very important to make sure you have your goals and your whys and what you're going to do. I'm going to move back to the Elevate page, share this. What are our successful days and successful years? We've set our goals and our reasons why. Now it's time to strategize to make the most of your day and follow these simple daily steps. I promise you, and I've gone through and made some changes. I did some changes during COVID. And I touched on something a while ago, that how will you get your prospect appointments each week? One thing that I really studied and I added to make sure it's number one that was not here in the old document is to study your market, be a market expert, know the price trends, because right now, as important it is, you know, to get listings, is those people getting the listings are going to be the people that knows the market. They're going to know. I've shared, I think about a year and a half ago, had some people wanted me to look at their home in Liberty Park. The other agent had told them that they talked to, you know, that they could probably get $295. I went in, $395, and I went in and said, no, we're about $430. And so I got them $430 for their house. Called the other agent, wanted to know why she was so low. And she said, well, I like to get a contract the first day. And I'm like, well, our duty is not to get a contract the first day. Our duty is to get them the most money and get them market value. And so everything around them was going up except for this one little neighborhood. And this one agent had control. And I went in and sold a couple of those. But I tell you, what's going to get you appointments, that's going to get you deals, is when you call your family, call your sphere of influence, is to be a market expert wherever you are, that you know. And look, it's as simple as going in MLS, looking at your neighborhoods in Trustful, looking at your neighborhoods in McCalla, and seeing the trends of where the prices are. And so if you start there before you start anything else, before you start, hey, who am I going to call? And then we've got add 10 new people to your database. Why I put that first instead of calling 10 people in your database is, okay, if Julie decides, hey, I'm going to start selling McCalla Market, or I'm going to start selling Helena, the 10 people you need in your database, you need to research and find out on Facebook how many of your friends have moved to Helena. And those are the people. Look at the businesses in Helena and different folks there that you want to reach out and call and talk to, and kind of move your business in a certain direction. I know Charnessa came in a couple of months ago, and you know, and if you work with enough buyers, you're going to get burnt out in this business, and she was totally burnt. And we talked about moving to listings, and you know, how do you make that transaction or transition to listings. And it's just really this, is studying the market, become that market expert. And that's what people are looking for. Buyers are really, as hard as they are, they're really easy, because they come tell you, hey, we want 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, we want brick, we want this, we want that. And so they just tell you what they're looking for, and you go find it. To where when you go talk to somebody on a listing appointment, you need to know the market. They need to be confident that you're going to get them the maximum amount of money and sell their house. This listing I took last week in Calera, we're a little bit high, and I know that, and they know that. That's the only reason they want to sell it. They're like, hey, if we can sell it at this price. But I'm looking at where new construction is going first of the year, because it's in a community, they're still building new homes. But the new price with homes out there is going up an easy $25,000, $30,000 a house. And so there's a lot of stuff and trends that I know that's coming, that's fixing to hit Calera, to where today it may seem a little overpriced, but I promise you in about 3 weeks, when the new builder prices come out that I've already talked to and we're building, is that it's going to be underpriced at that point. I've just closed 2 houses. We had 4 houses under contract in one of my subdivision. When I hit the 259.9 price point in my neighborhoods, we did this right as the homes got started. 259.9, the builder was just like, man, that's great, we're making more money. And then by the time we're getting close to closing, he's like, man, we're way under price. And he said lumber went up and all this other stuff. Well, luckily 2 contracts fell through, and then I put them back on the market. I actually didn't put them on the market. I just called 2 realtors, put them on the market, sold them at 271.9. So we were $12,000 up just in that short time frame. And the builder's really not making any more money. It's just that lumber prices, windows, everything else has gone up, and the home market's going up. And so over a couple of weeks, the price points change. And so going from a buyer's agent to a listing agent is telling people, you know, that you're an expert. So add 10 new people to your database. Julie, anybody that's here that wants to change locations, add 10 people in the location you want to go to. If you want to sell Vestavia, start knowing that market, start knowing that place, and start knowing 10 people in there, and get started, and add that each week. And so over a 10-week period, you're marketing to 100 people, and it just keeps on going and growing. And then it says call 10 people in your database to catch up. To me, and I started in March and April stating that, man, this is perfect time to phone. Nobody wants to see you. Nobody's going to go eat lunch. And so it's cheaper. You don't have to spend money to see folks. Pick up that phone and call. I was telling my son that's in the mortgage business, we were talking about calling agents, and and he's like, well, what do I say? I said, man, it's holidays, call and just wish them an early Merry Christmas and check on their families. COVID is going crazy right now, so now it's a perfect time. I just call, and, hey, what's going on? I like to talk to people, and so I'm like, hey, how are y'all doing? Just want to make sure you're not sick. And I'll just tell you this, if you don't want to get sick, come to our office, because I have these ozone machines and that I've discovered, and it's the same thing that they clear the air in the operating rooms. So we're zapping these offices daily, and sometimes 2 to 3 days. By the time we leave, Chris has learned what crud looks like floating in the air. So when we leave, he's going to throw the machines in here, turn it on. I have a little, if anybody can see, I don't know if I'm on, I found a personal ozone machine that I carry with me everywhere. It's in my car. I go shopping, and I've actually ordered a bunch of these. I just thought, man, this is a great tool for agents, and especially for Brandy that's locked up in her bedroom and won't leave that room. Is ozone, because it kills the bacteria in the air, and it works. And so
How much is the small machine?
Ma'am?
How much is the small machine?
These little machines I've got, and I've got several here, they're like $49 that you can carry them with you. Actually, they're $39. They haven't gone up yet, but I found them on several other magazines for $79. They've hit the market and everybody's wanting them. So I've got a few here if anybody wants them. And then I've got some personal machines that we plug into the wall that it runs all the time over there in our offices. And they're like $50 or something like that. But if you study ozone machines, ozone generators, they pull the bacteria out of the air and kill the germs. Good. And so they really work. That's our sponsor for the day. So ozone sales. So, but no, I'm just telling y'all, hey, this office is clean. So if you want to meet some clients or come here, come, because we are zapping this. Most everybody in here has masks, but we don't require masks. If people do come, we'd like to have masks on, but you can walk in and smell the air in here. But these things, like I said, are the same thing that they use in operating rooms to kill the germs and stuff like that. So I'll go back to Elevate. 10 people to catch up with your database, just catching up how they're doing, what's going on. The next is follow up with leads and prospects. Guys, if you want to know, the old TV show, Show Me the Money is in follow up. I will promise you that I have probably lost 30 to 40,000 bucks this year in sales because I didn't follow up. I was just so busy that I didn't get back with anybody. This one buyer was pitched to me last week. He's texting me Monday like, hey, did you forget me? I'm like, well, I was trying to. And so, but that's where we lose, is if we don't follow up. Somebody calls you or you get a lead or a friend tells you about somebody. If you don't call them and follow up, you're just wasting your time. But that's where you're going to make your money in 2021, is make sure that you're following up. All the money is in follow-up, guys. No matter what you do, how good you do it, if you don't follow up, you're not going to make any money. Still answer sign calls, convert leads, signs. I see agents around here in Hoover. Every Friday, their signs goes up on corners, and I followed, and there's no homes for sale. But that's how they market it. You can get away with a lot on Fridays, and as long as you get it up by Monday morning, put your sign up, because people are riding through and they'll see and say like, hey, what do you have out there? So if you want to create some calls, call FSBOs and ride around and find, and I did that last year, or this year actually. I took pictures and would send them to a few agents in those areas, find out they never called. And I'm like, come on, man, call it FSBOs. And like Brandy said earlier, most of them are either overpriced, people are not getting in there, and do the pitch. Use the thing that the landing page that I'm going to send you here in a little bit, that we can customize, called expireds. And we've talked about networking expireds. There's not a whole lot expiring right now, it's all being sold. If it expires, it's probably crap. What you do want to do is go back 2 years ago probably and look at expires, something that was on the market 2 to 3 years ago. I've shared that there's a guy in Atlanta that he does 3-year-old expires, but because they were ready to sell, the market was not as good as it should have been. And now he's just calling those old expires. So go into the MLS, look at expires, put time frame status date of 01/2017 to 06/2018 or whatever, and just start in whatever market. Start pulling those and make your list. You can print it out, and then just go in and put each one of those in the MLS and see if they're sold or if anything's happened since they expired. And then you can get you a list of probably 30 to 40 expires that you can call, go knock on their door or whatever else. The next thing is invest 30 minutes into education every day. And I think that's very important, that if we're professional realtors, I'd like to change the fact, and I tell everybody, the difference in a real estate agent and a professional realtor, people say training, all that. I said, no, it's like $600-700, so the bad thing in our industry is bad agents are out there being professional realtors just because they pay their fees like we do. But I do think at the end of the day, you're going to get those listings when they want if you're educated. With our business, our industry, you know what's going on. I study every day. I study the new home building. I look at home trends. I look at the mortgage rates and the futures and everything and lumbers and all that stuff. So because I'm entrenched in new construction, it's very important to me because I've got to keep up with what's my builders going to be able to do. I've gone from being at $55,000 a lot that I'm selling in Mount Olive to being able to be right at $70,000 just because I know where the builders trends are, where the home prices are going to be. But I'm gonna study and make sure I know everything about the business around me. And I think that's very important for you to educate yourself in real estate, see the trends that's going on, read what the experts are saying that's going on. Look at Redfin. Redfin has pretty good reports, even though they're a competitor. But invest time every day. I invested 30 minutes today in buying a book. And if anybody can see it, I think I have to go back on. Yeah, there it is. Badass Habits. Excuse my language, my Christian friends, but this is teaching you habits to be a badass, and it's a badass real estate agent. And I think it goes with anything that's out there, but it really talks about creating habits and good habits, getting rid of bad habits. My bad habit is I'm gonna have a bad habit, and how I'm gonna get rid of that bad habit is I'm gonna eat the rest of the pie tonight in the refrigerator, and then I will create a new habit tomorrow. But education, crazy little books like this, I promise you, this thing is so full of information that is good. How come you're not seeing my screen up there? So, time out 1 second. I'm sorry. So share screen. I thought I was sharing my screen the whole time. And so, yeah. There we go. Y'all can see. There we go. Okay. So now y'all can follow up. I'm sorry. I know I said that for you guys, but buy you a badass book and or a bad butt book, Julie. I'm sorry. And so anyway, but I tell you, these things it's so much fun reading this just because it really puts me in place of what I'm doing that's stupid. And I really, at the end of the day, I know I need to be calling more people and doing, I'm like, hey man, it's not hard. It's just that we don't repetitively do what we should be doing, things that work. And that's why I asked you what doesn't work, quit doing them. Look, eating pie doesn't work for me to lose weight. So I've got to quit eating pies, got to start eating healthy. I got to listen to Pinky a little bit more and eat the right foods, cut meats out and all that stuff. I know what's good and bad, either in my eating habits or my work habits. I know what's bad for me. I come in and cut up and do things, and I'm like, I don't have time for that. Make sure we're sending postcards to clients in that area. Pinky talked about doing that. She's got a plan. We have a postcard system. You know, we can help you build those postcards and help you send them out. Post facts about our market on social media. We go back, study the market, be a market expert on number one up here. Man, roll that into post facts about market on social media. I posted something yesterday on our website about now's the perfect time to list your home, because it's going to bring more now than it has. And so get stuff like that and share it so that people know that you know what you're talking about. Post facts on social media. Number one thing to do. That's the number one easy thing to do. Google, go to Google, pull up information about a real estate market, copy, paste it into Facebook and share it and tell people, call me. And that's what I'm putting in. I'm drawing a little thing that I'm gonna boost is, and I think I may have done it, just said, now's the perfect time to call me so I can, help you sell your house. Ask the magic question to 10 people who are not in your database. Do you know somebody that wants to sell a house or buy a house? I don't want to know anybody that wants to buy one. I just want to sell them. So, but if I get buyers, I'll be glad to send them out to you guys. Send handwritten note cards to anyone that, gave you a referral. Charnessa just talked about contacting the people that she sold houses to. Make sure that you're sending them a Christmas card, handwritten Christmas card, not some computer generated. Something just thanking them for being your client and letting you help them in 2017, 2018, 2019, whenever it was. Make it personal to them, because then I sent an email out the other day to Linda and Audrey, and we're always cutting up, and I answered them as your friend in the real estate business. And, they were just, there's a car guy, your friend in the car business. And, but really we need to be that friend in the real estate business to anybody that's out there, because a friend and a good business real estate agent is going to help them sell their home and get the best deal out of it and protect them all the way through. So we've gone through study the market, follow up. And so document your day on Facebook. When I sat there and saw document your day from Tom Ferry was doing some training, and I'm like, okay, so we got to keep a journal. And that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about going on social media and documenting your day. Hey, I showed a house today. Go in there and post it. Got an open house today. And to me, what I haven't seen, and it may be getting done, is I think, and I may do one this next week, is set up a Zoom open house. Is just send an invite out on Facebook, say, hey, Monday at 1 o'clock, I'm gonna have a Zoom open house, and hopefully pull a bunch of people in, and then I can walk through and show this house to a bunch of people. And hopefully they're all like, hey, can I call you and can I put a contract in or whatever? So do call people, show them Zoom meetings or show them videos and stuff like that. But call people and ask them, send handwritten things, and so just make sure we're documenting our day on Facebook. I know there for a while, when Julie first started, she was documenting everything, doing videos, and it worked for you, Julie. I mean, it got you out there. People were like, hey man, you're doing great. And so a lot of times we get out of that habit of doing those things. And so that's, it's like, hey man, we just need to keep on with the good habits, and don't let bad habits get in our way, and just make sure we're doing what works. Send handwritten note cards. So what should our day look like? And you guys can take these things and roll them around any which way you want to. Your elevated day, and as a business owner, which is what each one of you guys are, you're running your own business. Healthy breakfast, scratch that. Exercise, learn, read a book in the morning, or do some education, do something between 8 and 9 o'clock. But make sure we're eating and taking care of ourselves. This is a very stressful business, and I get agents come in here about every day. It's like, what do we have to do to find a house? We're putting 20 contracts out there, and we're getting, overbid, and that's something we can talk about at a later class, and how to work and do that. But at 9 o'clock in the morning, target yourself for a marketing hour, sitting down, marketing yourself. If you just get up in your day and say, hey, I may do this and that, and I've worked with Chris a little bit, trying to organize him and myself, is that somebody calls you, wants you to stop and do something. If it's a buyer or seller, it's like, hey man, they're important. That's what we're doing this for. But if it's something else that you can sit there and schedule at 1 o'clock, say, hey, can I call you back at 1? I've got some meetings. So 1 o'clock's my return, answer emails, post some stuff. Communication is key. Being seen out there, talking to people, responding is again, is the follow-up, is the money. And so, but we've got to be very strong at making sure we organize our day and don't let people stop us from our marketing hour or updating stuff or whatever's at that time frame. So be very organized as much as you can. We suggest time for follow-up. Again, that's where the money is. Contract to close files. Make sure you're making sure that your closings are done, that your payoffs are ordered and your termites are ordered and all that stuff at a certain time during the day. Call any potential leads, which leads to money. Time for follow-up. Follow-up is money. At 11 o'clock, just update your current seller clients. Call 5 people in your sphere to ask specifically for listing referrals. Guys, if you don't ask for them, you're not going to get them. And so I don't call anybody and just say, hey, you know anybody who's going to sell their house? Called this friend of mine, talked to him, talked about their little baby and that I haven't gotten to see in a while because of COVID. And it was a little young couple in one of my marriage classes that my wife and I taught. And so I just got close to him and I just said, hey man, the market's hot. You know anybody? And then boom, he's like, man, I do. I talked to some friends of mine. And so if you don't ask, you're not going to get it. I could have hung up after just finding out that his kids were good and everything. But I didn't. So then I get a few listings. Have lunch or exercise, meditate. I was pretty big on that. I have quit exercising and meditating and I feel worse. And so I focused on trying to lose weight by eating. And so after Chris's mom came in here, I've got to get back to exercising and burn out some of these calories. Found out it's a whole lot more fun to eat and be fat. And so than it is try to be skinny. At 1 o'clock again is return calls, answer emails, post. Communications key. 2 o'clock, call 5 people. I know some people sit there and it's like a 3-2-1 that Tom Ferry talks about. Is spend 3 hours of your day calling folks, and then 2 days following, 2 hours following up, 1 hour in making sure that your files are ready to close and all that stuff. So you can take this and change it, but I highly suggest that you create a schedule for yourself. Pick out of these things what you like to do, and something that I think somebody said earlier, text your custom mobile out if you have one, send it to friends. It's a simple, open up your mobile app and share it. And it open up your contact base and send it out to them to use. But texting also is a huge way of contacting people and people answer text messages. Just send hey guys, I hope you are doing well. Market's hot. If you know anybody wants to sell a house, let me know. You can copy and paste that and send it over and over and over and over to friends. And most of them will respond.
Follow up.
Mm-hmm.
2 years ago, I had a family, and he works for the Birmingham Fire Department,
Mm-hmm.
and he sent a referral. So I've had 4 people from that same fire station that I closed with this year.
Awesome.
Just following up, and so I was just thinking about asking them to send out who else do you know that's looking in their, in that fire department or another station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tarnessa was sharing, if y'all couldn't hear, that she sold a house to a fireman, and then she followed up and they sent you 5?
Well, I closed 4.
4.
Well, one is that we closed next week.
Okay.
And this one, yeah.
So it's follow up. So anybody else had any experience with follow up and how it works?
mostly we don't ask the business. We should always ask the business. Mostly we always say thank you and we just go, we should ask the business if we really want it.
Like I said, if you don't ask, you don't get it. So,
That's correct.
anyway, all right, I'm gonna finish up here. How to build your database. I sit here and break down who you should call, your parents, your in-laws, just ask people. I could sit down with my mom and she could give me probably 100 cousins that I never knew I had and say, here, call so-and-so. And because every night when I talk to her, she's like, well, Joe and his wife. And I'm like, no, I didn't know him. Well, that's your cousin. So, but your parents, your in-laws, ask your kids. Chase, my oldest son, is in the mortgage business, and he called me the other day. He's like, hey, I got a lead, got somebody approved. Who should I send it to? I'm like, whoa, duh. Your dad's in this business too. But we sent it out to somebody else that was, another agent in-house that was sending him business. And so, but your kids have contacts and they know their friends are buying, and so on and on and on and on. Where do we pull contacts? I get asked this all the time. Where do I get these contacts? Who do I call? And right there on the screen share, your current, it's in your phones, it's in your emails, your cell phone contacts, holiday card lists, wedding invitees. There's so many different things here. And check with your accountant, my attorney, my banker. I call them. They're like, hey, yeah, if they get somebody, my banker gets somebody pre-approved, he'll call me and see if I want to help people. Insurance agents, you'll be amazed at where you can get your business from. Charnessa just talked about a fireman, and so fireman, policeman, and so I'm a little nuts. I leave drinks out every day for the garbage men. I leave an ice chest with drinks and snacks, and when the garbage guys come, and so one of the guys I was talking to, and he said that he just passed his CDL. He was on back of the garbage truck and he just passed his CDL. And then the next week he came by and he said, hey, I'm getting a truck driving job, and I said, well, I gave him a card and said, hey, when you get enough, you want to buy a house, give me a call. And so, you just never know where your business is going to come from. And most people don't realize, but garbage collectors make pretty good money. Used to it was a bad job. Now they're making $40,000-$50,000 a year. And so next page, document your day. I've already talked about that. The next, where's your target market? We need to know that. Direct mail, social media, what do you like? Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter. I'm slowly learning that Facebook is an old man thing, so I'm not quite old enough to stay on Facebook. I might get on Pinterest, I guess, or something. But look at what you want to do. Make a list. If you don't have a page there, you need to put a full page together, or a page in each one of these. There's a way of linking them all. We will have a training class here I'm putting together on social media, how to use it, and how to advertise on social media. Hopefully the next week or two, we will have that kind of as a Christmas gift of everybody, what to do and how to grow your business on Facebook. I hear a lot that other agents are really blowing it out with, and you're seeing a lot of Facebook advertisement with agents. All these social media channels have turned from, instead of a social media, they're commercial. They're so commercialized right now, and just making money hands over foot. So build your brand. Everything you do here is building your brand. So that everybody knows the Charnessa Smith team, and what are you, Cornerstone Properties, and so it's like, let people know who you are. Build your brand. That's one thing that I found when I was advertising or with Zillow, was not only was I competing with 4 other agents or 3 other agents, is when I quit, my phone quit ringing because nobody knew Randy Brooks's number unless they went through Zillow. And so I was paying to build the Zillow brand, and most realtors are guilty of building them up to where they are today. Find your niche market. I was talking to somebody the other day that they're like, they've gotten into selling tiny homes. It's not really a real estate, but they are. they found a developer that's doing some lots and having the homes built and selling the lot and the house. And that was actually my next door neighbor. They were trying to put a deal together. And, those tiny homes are $85,000 and you get a lot for 40 or 50. So it's not a half bad little deal. But this agent had put a niche together. I've put my niche together by developing and having new construction. So that's why I've got that niche there. Put your niche together somewhere else on the market, what you want to do. But guys, it's very important that we go through and write all this stuff down. One, I like to get a commitment. You need to commit to yourself of achieving your goal, elevating your real estate career, and just follow these, the steps to utilize your tools, hold yourself accountable, be disciplined, thorough, and implement your business plan. And if you do, I promise you, you will elevate your business up to the next level. Most of us we underperformed this year just because we didn't do what we know we should do. And I'm the world's worst at that. Is I come in and let people kind of control my day. And you can't let that happen. You got to get in control of your day and run your own market and do it the way you're supposed to so that you can be successful. So that is it. I'm gonna cut off. If anybody has anything they want to say before we go. Again, I'm gonna shoot something out next week so that we can start breaking down a couple of these things and talk a little bit more. I've also talked to a panel. I'm trying to put together 4 or 5 of our top producers and a couple of other agents in Birmingham that sells a lot so that we can ask them, what is it you do? Chris and I are sitting here with some new agents that just passed that we're working on a training program. And I'm like, hey, I'd like to know from you guys what y'all did to start with to help you be successful so that we can pass this on. But we will put this panel together so that we're all kind of questioning and so I'm interested to know how Miss Charnessa sells so much real estate and in her market out there. And so she manages to keep another job. And are you full-time with the other job or part-time? So I'm like, hey, so she juggles a lot and is very good at this. And
She needs to teach a class.
she does need to teach a class. So we'll put her up for next week on things to do. So we'll have Charnessa how to juggle, because Julie can juggle kids and real estate and raising heifers and Chris said so.
Literally.
Yeah, congratulations. They have show cows now, so the girls are doing very well.
I have no choice. I have to sell real estate now.
Yeah, I know. Just to buy food and so.
Yep.
So anyway, well, thank you guys. We've lost a couple. We kind of rolled over a little bit. We started late, but I will send something out next week and kind of do this. I'll probably do this again, and then I will have a next step on what we should be doing. If you guys have any questions and stuff that you need help with, send it to me and we'll address it in the next meeting. So thank you again for attending, and we will talk to y'all later. Y'all let us know what we can do to help.